Hello, race fans. The Odds Couple back at you here for our regular Friday segment at the races. 8 races on the card. We're coming off a pretty good weekend last weekend. Friday and Saturday, we gave a lot of good picks, and we made some money. And last night was pretty formful, I think. I didn't get a chance to check, the picks that you put out, but I'm sure you had to be all over it.
Yeah, I mean, a couple straight bets won. I mean, it got a little chalky, but, what were you supposed to do? I was not happy in the last race. Yeah, I had Ferocious Tiger, but I had the horse that would have made the lead if he didn't get guzzled back, and then strangled all the way around, checked 72 times to, I think, ran third.
A couple rough trips for that horse in a row.
But, yeah.
I was wondering if you're going to be on Ferocious Tiger because I know he's beat us a couple of times, but in that race, he looked like a standout.
Yeah, but when you bet a bunch of money on Sammy, the Bermuda's Triangle, and
gets lost at sea.
He obviously got lost in the Bermuda. I don't know. I mean, the horse made the lead out of the gate, and he drug him back to 6th or 7th for some reason. I don't know what that was all about. Then checked him and checked him and checked him and checked him, and by then Ferocious Tiger had went around and was gone. And what are you gonna do?
But I think tonight's pretty formful. There's a couple of races I think you need to spread in, and like last night, and actually the last probably 5 or 6 race days where we've gave out our picks, we've been over 45-50% winners, top pick winners. And I mean, if people are listening, I think
you're just trying to help. I mean,
that's and giving out what we bet
doesn't help. Who was your best bet Saturday on the big day?
One of Wesley's horses. The other one, not the Neverland horse, that was yours. Mine was the other one, the one in the sprint in the Animal Kingdom.
Is that the Naughty Joker?
Naughty Joker, yeah.
Now, that horse was impressive because I thought he had to make the lead or be up close, and it was like he checked out, came around, and still went.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. That was as impressive as you can get. Now, of course, the Neverland horse was awful impressive, too. I was a little nervous when they turned for home because I thought he'd be in front when he took him back, and he rode him as confident as you can. And then what about Some Like It Hot Brown? Now, I needed him for a bunch of money.
I know. I did, too.
And when he pumped him out of the gate to the lead, I was like, oh, no.
And then those fractions that he put up.
23:46, I think it was. I was like, what on earth are we doing here?
The 3/4 time was quick. And, people say, he was wandering down the lane. And he was. But if you ran those internal fractions that he ran and kept going, and plus, he hasn't started but 5 or 6 times. He still probably has a little greenness to him.
Yeah.
I thought it was impressive. That race was very impressive, and I'm excited to see where he goes from that race.
Yeah, because what do? Do you stay on the Derby trail and take him to the Derby? Or at least try to, I guess they could run in the Bluegrass or something to try to get more points?
Run in the Bluegrass, or even the Lexington's worth some points. So, I don't know that he'll need a lot of points, but if, he can get placed in one of those two for sure, he'll be in Louisville for Saturday in May.
And I guess, as an owner, I've never owned a horse that caliber to even think about the Derby. So I guess you do get all wound up, right, on the Derby trail.
You have to, yeah.
But as a handicapper, I'm sitting back going, there is a graded stakes race on the undercard for 3-year-old colts at Churchill on that weekend. You still get nice tickets. So it's
then again, you just said you've never owned a horse of that caliber, and you have a chance to go to the Derby. Would you want to go to the Derby?
Oh,
it's the Derby.
I was there. Now, I had nothing to do with the horse, but I was there with Nikki when Doug O'Neill had Nyquist, and we hung out and just watching the excitement of that crew. And then, of course, they won, and they were going ballistic. That was just even from an outsider point of view, that was an unbelievable. I'm just staring at this like I can't imagine owning part of this horse. So, yeah, even if I had a toenail of a horse, I'd probably want to run in the Derby. So I get it. I understand what they're doing. And that's the easiest way to get there. Run here, run where he likes it, and then I guess you could try the dirt. The one thing about him is he does have tactical speed, and a lot of times those horses do run okay on the dirt.
Right.
He's not a dead closer where, a lot of those turf horses are dead closers, and it doesn't always translate to dirt. But, I could see winging it in the Lexington or the Bluegrass and see how he does.
I'm excited to see where he goes. We've had a lot of horses come out of this race and fare very well down there. And, he's got some support here from Florence, so we're looking forward to that. But first, we got to get through this 8-race card tonight. So we have 8 races on the card. The Poly track is fast. Now, last night we had some weather in the air. The temperature's been really good for a couple of days, and the track has been able, and of course it rained, we've been able to put water on it, and also the rain naturally put added water. And we saw the inside and speed very, very good last night.
Yeah, it was more fair than it's ever been, really.
Yeah.
I mean, and then later the horse swooped in the longer race. The horse swooped and just drew away with an early move. So yeah, it was extremely fair. That Ferocious Tiger had sat back a couple lengths and swooped them later. So, I wouldn't think there's any kind of bias going into tonight at all. Now,
temperatures cooled off a little bit and the winds that came through. So.
And I wouldn't get all wound up in the first race either, because as we start to talk about this, we both think that this could be a meltdown. This could be a hot pace depending on, what's Eddie Zaninga going to do. He usually just sends. So if he does that, the 5's going to send. The 4 or 5 Arches is going to send. The 1's going to send. The 3's 150 to 1. So, it's staring right at both of our top picks. I mean, what do you do? Just sit back, get off the rail, and wait and make your run.
Yeah, I agree. So in this first race, start of the pick 5, we're both in agreement. The 2, and obviously the people are in agreement as well. 6-5 on number 2, Daringly Bold. I think, as you see, I got it written right here, pace setup. I think it sets up perfectly for the horse. Now, you have some question marks. You got a 5% rider who prior to yesterday has only won 2 races since Thanksgiving, and the trainer hasn't won a race at the meet. But the trainer is capable. He's just in one of those ruts, and maybe Daringly Bold looks like he's in a spot to get him out of that rut. It's my top pick. After that, I'm going to use a couple of horses just because I don't know who to go to after that. But number 4, 5 Arches, ran horrible last start for the 5, gets 10-pound breaking weight, gets in 106 pounds. I'm going to take a shot. And then number 1, Ryman. I just thought that last race was a tightener, got him keyed up. He is one of the horses going to be on the pace, as is my other one, but somebody has to stick around for second or third. I'm going to take a shot, but in my pick 5, I was back and forth. It's just such a tougher sequence that I would love to go all in here, but the budget can't allow it, so I'm going to single.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I tried to stay. I told a couple guys online I'll try to cut it. They were complaining about the $100. We cut it to 50 to 60 range.
You know what happens when you do that, right?
Yeah, no, then you'll cut out a horse and they win. But, I just tell them by that ABC chart, if you got a bigger budget, go to the next horse.
Right.
Can you afford it?
As long as you can afford it.
Yeah, and if you could, because everybody's got different budgets, but for $60, I think you got to single the 2, Daringly Bold, and if you don't get through, come back and bet the pick 4. But I think you'll get through. I think so, too. I think Gabriel will swoop this horse wide and just go on with it. And I can tell you this, he won't be in the parking lot this time on the first turn, because I bet on him last time. And I threw everything in my living room the minute he was in the 15 path on the first turn, and that was the end of the race. So,
well, he's breaking from the 2-hole.
Yeah, now he's got the 2-hole. They're all got speed. Let them go. Just work your way out. The only error I think he could make is if on the backside they're all spread across and he just keeps hugging the rail. If he does that, then there could be problems.
Then
he's got to get out in the
middle. Will you be home in time to throw anything in your living room?
Actually, hopefully by then I'll be on the road on 75 and I won't wreck because I got to get to Crossroads by tip-off.
Yep. For the lovely Bearcats.
For the Bearcats at 7. So I'm flying up 75 to get to Old Montfort Heights, to Crossroad Wings, to meet my son, who's going to meet me up there, and we're going to sit and watch the Bearcats and bet Turfway.
Yeah, and hopefully you have the pick 5 going. And speaking of that, that takes us to race 2, start of the pick 4, which is a race I think that you can go pretty short. I think just the couple of 2 outside horses probably are the 2 in my opinion, and that is number 7 Classic Spring and the 6 Kiss Me Cowboy. In fact, this is a race you'll find my best bet. I'm taking a stand on number 7 Classic Spring. End here. After you get by him and the Conley horse, the defection of the 8, I don't think any other horse has a chance to win. And this horse is making a class drop. This trainer's won a couple of races out of 5 starts. I'm using this horse. The only other horse I'm going to use in my pick 5 or 4 in the race is the 6 Kiss Me Cowboy from the Conley Barn. Second start horse, showed speed and fade on debut. Will benefit from that tightener. And after that, I'm going to add the 3 Memorabilia just because I love the trainer. And the horse obviously faced much tougher than anything in here. Didn't run very good, but is a second start horse. Uncle Mo filly, comes from a good barn, and is going to be a price.
I agree with you. I mean, you got to flip a coin between the 6 and 7, whichever one you like. I'm just taking them both in the pick 5. I'm taking them both in the double. I'm hoping that the double can pay $12. I mean, I don't know if it will or not, but I'm hoping I can get 2 with 6, 7 home in the double. And that's it. I'm just going to wheel it like that because The two's just a bottom horse for me, coming late from the rail. You know me, I don't like the rail, and you know, maybe the horse can work her way off and get out in the middle. The 3, I guess, could hit the board. You know, that's just a complete guess. I mean, that horse could win or run last. I don't, you know.
I agree.
I guess if you want to cover yourself in the pick 5, I guess you could add the 3, but I don't want to add more to the ticket because that makes the $60 ticket 90.
Right.
So just 6, 7, and then we'll spread out in the next 3 because I think the third race is absolutely impossible.
Yeah, the third race is a open 8 claimer down to 7, going 6 furlongs, just a field of 6, but you can make a case for every horse in the race.
Yeah, I'm going to toss the 1 because of the rail, and I just don't think that horse has enough class to even hit the board.
Right.
But it wouldn't surprise me if he won. That's how tight this race is. But I defaulted to the outside horse of 6 at guard. You know, just because the horse seems to be knocking on the door and he's always right there, and I think, you know, the little bit of a freshening, the outside post, the tactical speed, I think we'll be able to sit right on the flank of the 5. And I think the 2 will be a little further back. I think the 3 will be a little further back, and the 4, I don't know. I mean, that horse just doesn't want to win. He'll probably win tonight when he looks like he can't win. But I think the race is the 6, maybe the 5, maybe the 3. But in the pick 5, I just could not eliminate the 2 or the 4, so I'm just going to take all but 1.
Okay, and I ended up going with number 3, Dream Saturday, on top in race 3. This horse chased a really good horse last start in Still Chief from the Contreras barn. Still Chief's on a couple of race win streak. He's been dominating those sprint starters here the last couple of times, and I think this horse rates a slight edge, but it is a wide open race like we spoke about. Number 6, At Guard. Horse has some back class, made over $117,000, 6 wins. Never been worse than 3rd here at Turfway. And this one will be closing, well drawn to the outside with this short distance. I'm going 3, 6, and then I'm going to add the 5 for all the same reasons. Proven Warrior first off the claim. Goes from Cipriano to Hammond, but you know, this one I think will be up and after the pace a little bit. But like you said, if your budget can allow it, add those 5 horses in the race and move on to race number 4. Now the 4th race is a condition claimer. Horses that haven't won a race in the last 6 months. There is a scratch of number 2 court's ruling, and that kind of changed things a little bit for me. But I do think number 5 in here, Barrister Jim, will get the job done. This horse drops and goes back to that dated condition. Last start, it wasn't non-winners a year. It was a non-winners of a race on the poly track surface since a certain date. But back in the the dated condition, I think the horse fits. 12-time winner from 32 starts, and I like the jock change in there a lot. After that, number 7, Run. Then I'll use the 4, Double Derringer. Looks like you're in agreement.
Are you going any deeper in the pick 5? I'm only using those 3. I'm not using anybody.
In fact, I'm cutting the 4. I'll single the 5, but I'm only using 5, 7.
Huh?
Because I'm spreading like butter in the last leg.
Because I tried, I really looked hard at the 1, Magical Connection, the 3, GF Butters, and the 5, Righteous Ride, thinking, all right, is there any way I can get one of these prices home here?
Yeah, then you get stacks.
I just couldn't make a case.
No.
I mean, I couldn't even make any kind of case to just say, well, maybe he can come late, maybe he can come. I just couldn't see it.
No, those horses are tosses. I mean, those are the.
I mean, it just looks like
the only way you can
the 5 goes to the lead, right? The 7 should sit right behind him in a nice snug hold. Try to go at him on the turn, and maybe the 4 sits in that catbird seat, tries to come around late. I mean, with the scratch of the 2, they're just one of those 3 got to win to me. You know, and I'm with you. I'm hoping to catch the price either in the 3rd or the 5th, but I'm using several of them in the 5th too. And you know, for bigger budget players, I could see hitting the all button in the 5th. You know, I'm taking 4 of them to stay at $60. So basically, we're at $15 a horse. That's the way when I'm figuring tickets for people and trying to get the budgets, I get to the last race, I divide by the number of horses I'm taking, and say, okay, it's $15 a horse. So every time I hit that button, I got to add $15 to get, you know. So I got to these 4 and was like, all right, that's enough. I'm trying to stay around $50 for everybody, so we'll just stay here. But there is a long shot that I threw out that I'm a little nervous about, but I used the 1, 3, 5, 6. 1, 3, 5, 6. My top pick was the 3. but I wasn't really that confident to where I would go bet on the horse or anything, but I just thought Sour Peach ran such a good race last time that maybe he can sit right there again, maybe pounce again. But then I look back a few races and Cora and beat the horse.
Right.
So you get 6-1 on that one, so how you going to throw him? You can't throw her out. Julissa, I wish I knew what happened last time. That absolute dead aim on the leaders, turning for home, looked like an absolute winner, and just hung, and just no excuse really. I mean, maybe the second off the layoff needed another one to get ready.
Right.
And just trying to make excuses for them, and then, you know, the one. I'm sorry, Holy Cookie has been running kind of deep. You know, those are open races. Fun Sucker has turned into a really nice one that I didn't see.
By the way,
coming.
that's a hard name to announce.
Oh, I bet.
You have to be real careful with that.
Oh, I bet. You better not have a couple beers before you announce that one. You'd be in deep trouble.
Yeah. So this race ending now. In my early pick 4, I kind of went short. I am hitting the all button.
Okay.
In the early one, I'm hitting the all button. The late one, I'm only using 4 horses. The 1 or 5 rather. The 1, 3, 4, 6, 7. You spoke on all the horses. You say you have 3, 6, 1. The only horse you haven't got to, I do like a little bit, is number 4. I Am Miss Brown. You said you're going to add that one on your ticket.
Yeah, that was the one I cut to get the $60. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so if you spend 75, you can add the 4.
Yeah, and you know, this horse has been beat by Holy Cookie, who has the rail in here a couple of times. But you know, on the class drop, Troy Newton, Rodney Prescott, you know, in a race that's wide open, that anything can happen. I'm going to add the horse in both of them. But like I said, the early one I'm going all, the late one I'm going to cut it to 5 horses, the 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, and you know. I wanted to single in the third leg of the late one, but I couldn't. I'm using 2 horses there.
Well, so I'm glad you agreed with me on the 8, because when you cut, that's the first horse you cut.
Yeah, he gone.
I eliminated her. Well, I eliminated her when she crossed the wire the other night, because that was, for the people that wasn't here, that was one of them races where they flew. I mean, they went faster than stakes horses early.
Yeah.
They were flying.
Yeah,
and
23 for the first quarter going long.
I mean, somebody had to come running, and she just kind of staggered by them by default, because, you know, that was the entry, right? Everybody bet on the other part of the entry, and ended up cashing with her.
And everybody's ready to throw up at the 8th pole, because the one everybody liked was done.
1 to 2, and you're already done at the 8th pole, and then it's like, oh, wait a minute, here comes the other one. Maybe I'll get lucky with the other one.
Well, that's the first 5 races the way we see it at this time, folks. We're going to take a pause for the cause as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Turfway Park. Folks, at this time, we ask that you please rise, kindly remove your caps, as we honor America with the playing of our national anthem. Hello, race fans. Welcome into Turfway Park. The windows are open as we kick off our Rockin' Friday event here at the track tonight. First post in 25 minutes. Dollar dogs, dollar bets, dollar beers, and also some live music later on from Gee, Your Band Smells Terrific. Now, 8 races on the card, Polytrack Fast. We'll get into the changes. If you'll check out your racing forms and programs, we'll go over those. First race starts off the pick 5. No changes. Race 1 clear. In the second race, start of the early pick 4, scratch number 1, Magic Finish. Overweight on the 4, that jockey +2. And scratch number 8, Surfer Girl Sense. Race 2, scratch numbers 1 and 8. No changes out of the third. The fourth race, there was a scratch in race 4 of number 2, Court's Ruling. Fourth race, number 2, Court's Ruling is out. Race 5 starts a late pick 4, no changes in race 5. Also, the 6th race is clear. If you go to the 7th race, 7th and featured race, there's a jockey change in number 1, Wonderstone, make the rider Angel Serpa. Scratch number 3, Hot Honey. Rider switch on the 4, Karina to Luan Machado. And please note number 6, Dreamboat Anna, has an equipment change. She will take the blinkers off. Blinkers off, number 6, Dreamboat Anna. Due to the scratch and to reduce the field to 5 entrants, there will be no superfecta wagering in the 7th. 8th and final with the high 5 wager, no carryover in that. Scratch number 1, Sylvester Yoli. Number 5, Kimberly Dream, jockey is 2 pounds over. And scratch number 9, Miss Hopper. Race fans, those are the changes at this time. Any changes coming in throughout the balance of the card, I'll get those to you as they do so. First post in 23 minutes. Good luck. Welcome back to the Odds Couple Show, folks, as we take a look at the final 3 races on the card. We got through the first 5, the pick 5, the early pick 4, and we told you how we were going to start off the late pick 4. We'll get into the 6th race now. It's a non-winners of 3 claimant event, 15 down to 10, and they will go a mile in race number 6. No program changes, just a field of 6 to go in here. I thought it could go a number of ways. I was back and forth in here between the 3 outside horses. I ended up using number 5, King Valero, on top. On the class drop, this horse has only won 2 races in its life, made just shy of $150,000. And then I'm going to use number 6, Time Traveler. Taking a big step up in class, usually not the angle you go when you get beat for 75, you go back for 15, but the horse does fit in this race.
Yeah, it's funny how the horse does fit and likes this place. I mean, we discussed the rider chain. I don't understand the De Leon to Zuninga, but he did run last time, did ride him all right last time, you know, did come plodding in there for second. So I'm not sure this is a step up in class once you get past the 5.
Yeah.
Now,
I think you got to use the 4 also.
Yeah, and the 4's obviously got some back class. The 5's got some class. But I'm not sure the 6 doesn't fit with all of them.
Right.
I'm with you. I'm going to use those 3. Plus, I'm going to use Unity. I was convinced when I heard what was going on at Santa Anita that Unity would be scratched because I thought they would ship him with the other 6 horses in the entire country that run without Lasix and go out to Santa Anita and run without Lasix. But they're probably going to have 2 horse fields and run 3 days a week and have 2 races, I guess, so he had to stay here.
Mm-hmm. He is coming back pretty quick, though. The only reason I see you used him for second, the only reason I didn't use him, he's making it, now,
yeah, that's a lot of starts.
There's nothing wrong. He's on a 2-race win streak, but this is his 4th start in 27 days. At 3-1, I can't go for it.
Yeah, the price isn't right. I'm going to bet the pick 4 anyway.
Are you using him in the pick 4?
Yeah, and I'm betting doubles into my best bet in the next race, trying to get some kind of value because I absolutely love that horse in the 7th. So I'm going to use him in doubles and pick 4s. Am I wild about Unity? No. Am I wild about the 4th race in 27 days? No. Am I wild about no Lasix? No. But I just think that, we all find our friends at some point in life, right?
Exactly.
After all them starts in the maiden special weight, they finally dropped this horse and immediately won, right? So then they put him in a reasonable spot, non-winners, the 15,000, boom, come right back and win, and got up at the last step or two. Now back out to a mile. None of these horses are that, they're all 9-3 life. Maybe still, with his friends, to where he can just plod along there, and if the 4 stops, because the 5's the horse to beat.
Right.
That's the horse that's clearly the horse to beat. But, Figaro, I don't know. I'll be singing the tune Turning for Home, hoping he keeps running, I guess. But, I'm going to single the 5 and a couple extra tickets. Mm-hmm. I don't think the 1 and 2 can win. So I'm going to take the other 4 and be protected. But right. I will have multiple tickets with the 5 into my best bet in the next race.
Yeah, I thought it was a wide open race. Like I said, I ended up going 5, 6, and 4. The 4 is going to show speed, but is on the class drop. I don't know much about the trainer, but looking at the race, I thought there was a lot of speed in the race, and Unity does need that. He's been fortunate though. He's had a quick pace in front of him the last couple of starts, and has been. I do like the way they entered off the maiden 30 win. They went for the 15. But, I just think there's so much speed. The 110 cause, he's going to look, he sped and fade last time, got beat 30 lengths, and, looked like he drank a gallon of brake fluid last time.
Do you ever get mad at horses?
Do I?
Well, sometimes Dale Romans likes to tip his horses. Well, at one point when 10 cause ran the first time out, we were told that this was a super horse.
When he started for 20?
No, this is
further back than this?
When he was a first-time starter, and he run dead last. And didn't get a call.
And you got crushed. And
I got crushed, and I said, "Don't you ever call me with another one of his first-time starters. I don't want to hear it." And then of course he ran and ran and ran. And they finally dropped him to maiden 12, and then he ran off the screen, and of course hasn't done anything since really. But maybe this is his friends. I don't know. He's not my type. Going to have to go all the way. And
I think he's going to hook up with the 1, 2, and 4 are going to go out there, and then I think they kill each other off.
Yeah, I think the 5's going to get the perfect trip, and then if he's good enough, he'll win. If not, the 3 or 6 will come from over the top of him.
So that brings us to the 7th race, where you have your best bet of the night in race number 7.
Yep.
Tell us who it is.
I can't express how much I like Dreamboat Anna, the 6.
Okay.
I'm mad that they scratched the 3 because now my price is going to be even worse. I'm hoping everybody bets on the Wesley Ward.
I'm going to.
I'm hoping. I hope everybody bets on the 1, Wonderstone. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that horse can't win, but you're going to get the rail. I'm going to get the 5-hole. I'm going to get to stalk you the whole way around on the poly track with a horse that's turning back. There's no reason why the 6 furlongs shouldn't be perfect for her. I'm hoping Rodney just sits on the flank of the 1, engages in the lane, and says, let's see who's better, because the 2, 4, and 5 cannot beat the 1 or 6 if either one of them show up.
So if they halfway show up, they can. I don't think either. I just thought there was some speed in the race, and I could see why you like Dreamboat Anna. On debut, she was ultra impressive. Came back in that Macklin Bullet race going long. She didn't want no part of that.
Right.
Came back in the Cincinnati Trophy and showed speed, ran a respectable 4th, and behind a pretty good horse.
Don't those horses have to be 2 to 5 in this field? Any of those horses?
Yeah, I think so. She's got the highest buyers in the field, and like you said, going the short distance, she's perfectly drawn. Now, I have a question for you. If she would have drawn the 1 and the 1 draw the 6, would that have changed your opinion any?
Yeah, I'd have bet on Wonderstone.
Okay.
I
thought so. That's why I asked.
The 1 hole here. Now they lumped it all together. 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5 is 7%. Mm-hmm. The average is what, 10, 11, 12% is what you like to be.
It's probably much lower when you get rid of the 5.5.
When you take out the 5 and 5.5. The 1 hole is somewhere between 3 and 5%, depending on how bad you want to pick it apart. So, yeah, there's only 5 horses in here. So, obviously, the 1 hole, it's 20% on paper. There's only 5 horses, right? But when you have a tactical horse on the outside in races like this is when I try to attack. It's just me. I see why. I look for horses I know they're going to bet in the 1 hole that I know I have a tactical advantage over because of the post position. I get the best rider. Not that Serpa's bad. Serpa's had a good meet. But Prescott sitting right there, he knows the track, he's going to know when to go. And, you know, I'm not sure how good Dreamboat Anna is yet, because the Cincinnati Trophy was a loaded race.
It was a strong race, and I think we'll find out tonight, because Wonderstone, she's a very, very good horse, and I like your horse. I'm not singling either. I'm using.
He's going to take them both.
I'm using the 1 and the 6. That's why I went short in that race, and I threw out the Derringer horse, because I have to spread out in the last a little bit as well. I think you can narrow it down to 3, but there's 2 horses that I want to add because of prices. But I am using 2 in here. I'm putting the 1 Wonderstone on top. Now, I don't like the post position. She does take blinkers off, but I just thought, you know, Dreamboat Anna is going to break sharp. I thought Cherry Ganache, she's cheap, but she's rapid. And I thought if she could go out there and hook Dreamboat Anna, and Serpent could just ease off them 2 and maybe sit, you know, right off them in behind them, and then swoop and
can a Wesley
and
do
try to
that?
roll. I don't know, but I'm using both of them, so it doesn't matter.
Because I'm hoping Prescott doesn't go. Just looks to his left and says, go ahead if you want to go, and I'm just going to sit on the flank of you guys.
Yeah, see, I took the approach as the 1 hole and the 6 hole. Now, it's your best bet. You probably put it out on your sheet as your best bet. Odds are going to come down.
Unfortunately.
The horse I likes in the rail, people are going to stay away. So I'm going to get a little bigger price than I normally would.
That could happen.
With the 3 out, all the money's on you. I'm using them both, so it doesn't matter to me one bit. But I'm using the 1-6, and after that, I'm going to use the 4 Carina. I think you can bet that trifecta until your fingers bleed.
Yep.
1-6, 1-6-4.
Now, how you finishing this in the 8th? How we finish? Because I'm betting the rolling doubles, the pick 3s. Because I'm afraid that my price might get crushed because of my big mouth. So if I can bet the doubles, sometimes I can get some $12, $14, $16 doubles, you know, instead of ending up with even money or 3 to 5.
Well, I like the 3 obvious horses in the race, and we're speaking of the 8th race. Number 7, DeFira, is going to take all the money. I like her chances in here. I end up putting her on top. And then I'm going to use number 4, Villa Savina, on the turnback. I like these turnback horses. She ran respectable 3rd. Turns back to the short distance today at 6 furlongs. I'm going to use her. I'm also going to use the 5, Kimberly Dream. Now, when I got to looking at the race, if I'm going to use the 5 at 6 to 1, on my pick 4, I have to add the 6 at 12 to 1, because they only ran a length or 2 within each other the last couple of starts. And
you didn't mention the 8.
Well, I haven't got there yet.
Okay.
I'm going in numeric order.
Okay.
But 6, you know, you get Bermudas to Lascano, which I like.
Okay.
And then I am going to use the 8, Unexpected Visit. Now, this horse coming in from Fairgrounds, the buyers are okay. The buyer 3 back is very live here, you know, puts it in the mix. And, you know, but the bottom is the bottom. The horse was 44 to 1 out there, but is a newcomer, fresh horse, and making poly debut, but has ran on the synthetic before at Prescott. But I am definitely going to use the horse.
I can see using all 5 of them. I'm in the same top 3 as you, the 7, 4, 5, and then, you know, if you're hunting for prices, I can't knock the 6, because you got to give yourself a chance in the last race to have something of some kind of value. You don't want to go into the last race and look up and have, you know, 8 or 9 prices up there and you got the lowest 2 or the lowest 3. It drives me nuts not to at least give myself a chance to smile and be happy and say, I caught the biggest one. Because you can't catch the biggest one. I always tell my dad this. You can't catch the biggest one if you never take the biggest one.
Right.
And he's always got the 2 favorites finishing and the 3 favorites finishing. I'm like, how are you ever going to hit a big one if you always have the lowest prices? Give yourself a chance. Dig, find a long shot, and just toss them on the ticket. So I agree with you there. I have not knocked Machado the whole meet, have I? All I've done is bragged about him and how good I think he is and what level he could eventually go to. I think he could go to Churchill and compete with the big boys. But his ride on DeFira last time I thought was extremely overconfident, where he let the other horse go, and he just kept sitting there and sitting there and sitting there. And I think he thought in his mind he had that horse whenever he could go. And then all of a sudden it was like, uh-oh, now I can't get him. And I think if he would have just put down the gauntlet and just said, go.
I agree.
You know, maybe it would have, you know, maybe they both would have been out
I don't
of money.
like when riders do that, and we see it all over, especially on the cheaper caliber, the maidens or the condition claimers. You see the guys sit off of them, they're locked and loaded, and then by the time the running starts, you can choke the race out of them.
Yep.
And also vice versa, horses on the lead, they're there and you're waiting, and then all of a sudden you let them get to you and go. Well, those horses, they don't have that depth to reach down and dig in and go. Send them, make them come get you.
I always say that. I'd rather have my speed horse in front and 111, 5 in front, than 112 and 4 and have a horse sitting next to him,
right,
and my ears are pricked, and you're like, what are you doing? Let him go. Get out of there. Tell him come get you, because hey, you stretch out a field sometimes, horses get brave, they stagger, the other ones get tired of chasing, you know, and let's face, sometimes they get tired, sometimes they get hurt, sometimes they're not feeling so good, and they just stop trying.
I can take that, but I can't take when they choke the right in there. They keep looking back and looking. Listen, if they're not in front of you, they're back there. You don't have to look. They are back there.
Paco.
I mean, come on. Well, the only thing he sees is the sky. He stands so straight up in the air. Anyway.
So I think the pick 4 is there to be had. I think, you know, you take those 2 in the 7th, lock it up, or take my horse and try to single it. I think you got a chance to. I think the pick 4 could pay $150, $200, and you don't have to spend that much money. No. I don't think.
No, I think we put out some pretty live tickets tonight. We're in agreement on all of them pretty much. Pick 5 in the first race, pick 4 races 2 and 5. 10 minutes apiece. We're about to get riders up here. The first of 8 races at Turfway. Good luck.